Robert, obviously he's come back. He's looking happy again.
Yeah.
As a training partner, because the original rumor after, and I was down there for Melbourne. It was actually a hard one for me as well. I was filming for the UFC.
Yeah,
and
I was there as well.
And they put me in his corner, as the behind the scenes for that thrill and agony stuff. And so my whole thing was like I had to stay on the family, right? So
yeah,
that one was tough for me because obviously his wife was there, and when things went a little pear shaped, like I kind of was at that. I was in that moment. I was in that moment, and I was kind of like, dude, right? I was like, do I do the human thing and turn away, or do I do what I'm getting paid to do? And I ended up doing it. Mind you, when you watch that Thrill and Agony, I was really happy with the way they used that footage, and I think it represented her well as well. So at the time, I remember I felt bad. I just felt bad. I was like, I can't believe I'm even doing this. But then afterwards, I'm like, you know what? It painted the right picture. It really did. But then after that, obviously, he went on a little bit of a hiatus. And I know that the initial rumor was that, there was a bone marrow transplant for the daughter.
It's all bullshit.
Right? And then Rob came out and said, no, I don't even know where that rumor started. It's all bullshit. And then he talked about that he just felt a little burnt out. He was talking about running sand dunes on Christmas Day or something, and he was just like, I'm done. As a training partner, could you see that? Like before the fact, could you see that he was kind of burnt out for a moment there?
Yeah, like the feeling at training was very intense. A lot of pressure, man, especially I think there was a lot of pressure before he lost to Israel. not just from like our side, there's coaches and training partners but like from Australia and the world. He's pulled out of 2 big fights, and in Melbourne was supposed to be. I think he was more so just trying to get there than he was trying to win the fight. So even the last 6 weeks of his training camp, I'm one of his closest training partners, and I never even saw him, because he's on his own doing some fitness, doing pads, doing other stuff that it's going to keep him away from getting injured or keep him away from whatever, like he had any issues, So, it was more about trying to get there than anything. And then he loses, and then it's like even more pressure because now he's on the losing. Like, you're only as good as your last win, really. And I've been on the end of that. It's like the camp, the feeling is it's shit after. You want to get it back. It's more serious. You start questioning things. Maybe, I don't know, from his personal, like how he actually felt, but I can relate.
I guess what I'm trying to say, leading up to fights, you always have people in there like, this has been the best camp I've had, and it's kind of like every fighter's going to say, because you're not going to go in there going, I've had a terrible camp, right? But I'm just saying, like, in hindsight now, do you feel like the energy levels were down? Like, could you feel that as a training partner, that something? Yeah. I won't even say something wasn't right, because it's not like there were personal issues or anything. It was just, when you burn out sometimes. And as I say, right now he's looking re-energized. So I'm not even trying to say he's made excuses. I'm just saying, like, could you feel that energy that, like, man, he's dipping a little low now?
Yeah. Before he just sat away and all of that sort of stuff, you could see just a bit, I don't know, like he just didn't want to be there as much. The feel wasn't as good. All I could say is that, like, since coming back as well, then that's when you realize the difference of his attitude and stuff, because he's so much like more. He was so much more at ease this time, going into the fight with Till. Like, he's just like another day, and he was happy to be there, and overall, like, he felt really comfortable, and he was confident in that he was going to win, or I don't even think he even cared. Like, he was just happy to be there.
Yeah, and Tillman was a good good showing, man. Like the Till fight was really
Yeah.
good, and his next one's a tough one too. I'm not gonna lie, that one's
Cannonier?
Yeah, that's a tough fight.
They say I'm like Cannonier, so I'll be a good training partner for him.
Oh well, maybe they'll take you to Fight Island this time, and then you can get, then you can get the
Yeah, I'll go.
the signing as well.